Hi everybody, in today's video we're going to use the backhoe and the 2038 to bury some conduit from my house to the detached garage. I'll show you how to install the conduit and some pull string and some tracer wire. We're going to saw up some asphalt and then we're going to repair all that. So if you'd like to see how we do that, join me right now on Today in Iowa. Well, hello again, everybody. Bill here from Today in Iowa. Today's project, the purpose of today's project is to hardwire my security system together. I just don't feel comfortable with the wireless systems that are so popular today. So I've laid out a green line there to kind of help me stay on track. And you can see it comes from the home, and that's where I'm going to go into the home in that electrical box. And then about 130 feet looking the other direction, we're going to go around that water hydrant, the asphalt there, the downspouts that's buried, and then we're going to get over to this location where we're going to put a hand box in, saw up the asphalt, and go over and get into the garage and complete my hard wiring. One of the first things I want to do here is locate that buried downspout. So I'm using this prod little 1/4-inch steel on the T handle there, and I'm looking for that right now. I'm figuring I'm going to dig down about 8 inches. And so far I'm not finding anything, so I'm pretty comfortable that we can just dig right through there. So it looks pretty good. Alright, when I made this video there was still a little bit of frost in the ground, and I wanted to leave that in and show how the 270B goes right through that. And it's not very much, don't let me mislead you, but it works pretty well. Real heavy clay in here. You've probably heard it called gumbo, and just a real heavy clay here. So the backhoe really spoils you when it comes to digging through things like this. On some Facebook pages I hear people talk about should they invest in a backhoe, and that's such a personal decision, but I couldn't imagine not having a backhoe now with the amount of things that I can do. Especially as I get a little bit older, I just couldn't imagine digging through this with a shovel. Well, to be frank, I wouldn't do it. So having the backhoe sure does make things possible for me. And I know I've heard the arguments about renting one instead of owning one, but it's the convenience factor to be able to pull it out today. It was a nice day, the sun was out, and I thought I'm going to work it. I didn't have any problems with scheduling or renting one, so ownership was nice. So, you know, if it fits in your budget, you might want to consider it. So here we are, we're around the asphalt, and we're coming up on that buried downspout there that you can see to your right. And if my prod was right, I'm going to be able to dig through there at 8 inches and dig right over it. And so far that's proving to be true. I'm coming through there kind of slow. We're just going to take our time through here. And when I dig near something, I like to drag my teeth through vertically and kind of feel it. I know you professional excavators probably have a different way, but I like to just drag my teeth vertically there, come along, and then I'll feel a little bump or something. I don't have the bucket in a position where it's going to dig something up. It'll just bump and roll over in this case. Well, I'm about done here. I'm down to my desired depth, and we've cleared through there very nicely. So that worked out well. As we dig along here, don't be surprised when you see me strike some underground cable. It's old cable that used to come from an outside antenna, and with fiber optics, there it is. With fiber optics now in my area, outside antennas and dishes are all gone. I left this video in to show you how I set up for the next dig. Basically, I moved the rear tire to the front tire location, and that's just about the right length for that backhoe. I like to leave the boom and dipper stick out there, and then that also helps me kind of visualize where I can start with my first dig. But again, I try to just move the rear tire to the front tire, and that seems to work very well too. Hey, we're about halfway through our digging path through here. Let me take a minute and do some shout outs. Hi David over in Park City, Utah. Randy in Creek County, Oklahoma. Jeff checked in from Markeson, Wisconsin. Doug said hello from Ventura, California. T. Hawkins said hello from Purdy, Virginia. I know a Hawkins here in Dubuque. Real nice woman. Steve checked in from Oregon City, Oregon. From Alamo, Georgia. Clay checked in. Don said hi from Garland, Texas. Joe, Tupelo, Mississippi. And let's see, Andrew in Toledo, Ohio. And Don in Langdon, New Hampshire. Thanks for checking in, everybody. I'd love to hear from you and where you're watching from. And I always try to recognize that and say hello. If you do drop me a question or a comment, I promise I'll get back to you. Especially being retired now, I'm looking forward to getting a little more time back with my viewers. I sure like a small channel so that I can interact with everybody that's watching, and I really appreciate your viewership and taking a few minutes to say hi. Thanks, everybody. In honor of your time, I'm playing this back at 1.5 times the normal speed, so the jerkiness is kind of enhanced there. And like I said before, this is my technique. Everybody will develop their own. I like to pull the teeth through there, kind of rake it first, then pitch it, and then scoop it up and deposit it outside the trench. Going from a 1025 to this machine, I've been very happy with it. Nothing against the 1025s, don't get me wrong, but it was just a little bit extra horsepower and ability to dig through some stiff clay like we're doing here today was really nice. Next month, I'm going to start off with a special opener here after being retired for this first month. I'm developing in my head right now. Tune in next month. I hope you're going to get a kick out of it. It's going to be a brand new beginning for the new frontier. Excited to share that with you. And I purchased a new tiller. That'll also be next month. I'm going to come through here after digging all this up. We're going to till it up and reseed it. And I'm going to show you how the tracer wire works. We're going to put that in here in a few minutes. And I'll show you how those how that locate equipment works. You've probably seen utility people using that. Well, I've got one of those, so I'll share that with you and show you how that works. Well, we're getting real close here now to the end of our dig, and I had to turn the tractor sideways. And I'm surprised how clumsy I am when I'm digging from that different angle. You think the controls are the same, but why is it so clumsy? For some reason, when it goes out in front of you and you dig back, it's a natural extension of your hand, and you scoop back and you dig it up. But coming off the side for some reason, it's just like I'm starting all over again. Always a challenge to dig efficiently from that direction. You know, I operate my RPMs on this tractor around 1500, maybe 1800. Seem to be a real comfortable setting to avoid a bunch of slamming and jerking around of the backhoe. I find that setting to work very well for me, give me adequate pressure to dig through the soils and get the job done. The owner's manual, operating manual, also pointed out the digging depth on this backhoe was 7 feet, and I did get to 7 feet once in video 112 when I was working on my pond, so you may want to check that out if you'd like to see 7 feet. Another interesting measurement was the reach of the backhoe out from the back there is 9 feet 9 inches. The swing arc, as I posted earlier, was 150 degrees. And I noticed the boom lifting ability is 255 pounds. There's a lot of caveats on how they got that amount, so you may want to check out the owner's manual, but I thought that was interesting. I'll not likely do that with the forks and other things that I have, but it's a good number to know, isn't it? All right, so we've got to the place where we want to put this first hand box, and that's going to go right there. Now next we're going to glue the conduit together. I'm going to put in a 1 inch and a 1/2 inch conduit, so I'm going to glue it together and just glue it and pass it on and just keep going until I get 130 feet done. Once I'm done with that, there's the pull string. If you've ever used that, it has numbers on it, so if you have to know how much wire later to cut or put in, that helps you do that. Then I take a little plastic bag. This is a trick that a lot of people know, and I tie it onto the end of that string, and it's got some names for it. I can't remember what that is called. Put it at one end of the conduit. Then I put the vacuum cleaner at the other end of the conduit, create a vacuum, And then at the other end, the little baggie is there tied to my string, and there she goes. And it only takes a little bit to get 130 feet. I could have also done this while it was in the trench, but it was muddy, and I thought, I'll just stay up here where it's on hard surface where it's dry. Now I'm running some, I think it's 14 gauge solid copper wire along the conduit. I'm going to tape it to that conduit, and I'll show you how you can trace that next month after I get this complete. Now once we have that ready, then we're going to go ahead and put it in the trench. The pole string is in there, and we're ready to go. Alright, so now I'm going to use the loader and the 2038 and push the soil in, and then reach her on the other side of the trench and then pull it back in. Rather than take the backhoe off and put a rear blade on and kind of drive it along and put it back in the trench that way, this was just as easy. One thing I've learned from the Facebook pages that I do read, I'm real careful of the extension of those hydraulics there at the bucket, especially when I'm pushing forward with it tilted forward, that I know I have loose soil here and I'm not going to hit anything fixed because I've seen some of those hydraulic cylinders bent. Alright, with that done, we're going to get out the chop saw here. It has an asphalt blade on it, and I like this design because you can put it in a carriage and push it instead of breaking your back. 30 years ago it would not have been a big deal, but now it is. Well, I left this in because I have the water hooked up, the water's on, and look at the smoke and cutting dust there. Something's wrong, isn't it? Well, long story short, there's a button on that saw that turns the solenoid off and won't let the water come through to the saw blade. So I quickly figured that out, and what a difference. Here you can see now the water's being delivered to the cutting blade, and it knocked all that dust down. So I'm just going to take my time here and just go back and forth and work my way through the asphalt, and we're going to be through this real quick. About 4 inches of asphalt here. Alright, so I started at the garage end, and I'm pulling the saw backwards to meet my original cut, and we're done. Now it's on to the hand box, and I want to put the hand box in so that I have access to this intersection. There's another one near the house, so I'm going to put in 2 hand boxes so that I can make changes in the future. Alright, so I'll put the first hand box in here, and I'm going to try to match it to the existing slope. You can see, just get it in there nice and solid. Then I'll fill that with a 1-inch clean gravel inside. Not fill it, but I'll put a few inches of 1-inch clean in the bottom for drainage. And there it is. Before I put the stone in, all my cables there, my pull strings are in place, and now all I have to do is just backfill that, and that will be done. This box, I ran over this box with the 2038 a couple of times, so it's withstanding that drive-over weight of that tractor. So real happy I bought this on the internet. It was a lot lower cost than some of the real heavy-duty ones that you see along utility right-of-ways. So then I just wanted to get a crowbar under that asphalt we sawed up, and just get my fingers under there, and that pulls right up. So we'll pull all that asphalt out, and then we're ready to get our conduit in place. Alright, so I've got the hand box filled back as far as I want. There's my trench, all the asphalt's removed. Now I'm just going to take a hammer drill and just loosen up some of that compacted soil. I don't want to undermine the existing asphalt, so I'm just going to make a trench there using a hoe and that hammer drill. Alright, there's the conduit in place. This is not a mistake. I brought 2 pipe over from the house to that hand box, and then I needed 1 pipe to go to this garage, and then I've got another conduit path in the future for another building. Got the hoe out and asked the wife to mix me up 4 or 5 bags of Sackcrete quickly. We put that in place, screeded it off, and I think we've got another project well done. There it is with some dirt around the hand box. I've got to put a few retaining wall block back in there, but overall I think it was a success. Hey, let's take a look at the viewer's map from around the world. There we are over in Europe. I hope you find your location. There's a big view of the United States from Alaska to Hawaii. We don't want to forget about our Canadian friends up north. Thanks for checking in. And I don't want to forget about our viewers down in New Zealand and Australia. Hey, let's take a look at the United States map. Here's the northeast. I hope you find your location on there. And here's the southeast. Take a quick peek at that. I try to get everybody on. Here's the southwest. And, of course, the northwest. Hey, thanks so much for watching my videos and saying hello, everybody. I sincerely appreciate it. Oh, yeah, look at the flags we've collected so far. Looks like 11 countries out of 252. You have a great month, everybody. So long.